After being sold far away, one horse traveled 4 days to return to the man who once saved his life. The farmer had no choice. He had to sell the horse that once saved his life. But 3 days later, in the middle of the night, someone heard hooves outside the farm gate. When they opened the door, the same horse had returned. After walking 30 miles alone, in the wide countryside of Montana, where endless fields stretched beneath the open sky, there lived a quiet farmer named Samuel Turner. Samuel was known across the county as a hard-working man. He lived alone on a small ranch just outside the town of Redwood Valley, Montana. His life followed a simple rhythm. Wake before sunrise, feed the animals, repair fences, work the dry soil of the fields, then rest beside the barn as the sun slowly disappeared behind the hills. But among all the animals on the ranch, there was one that meant more to him than any other, a strong chestnut horse named Dakota. Samuel hadn't raised Dakota from birth. In fact, their story began by accident. Years earlier, Samuel had passed through a crowded livestock market. Most people were searching for the strongest horses, the youngest, the fastest. But in one small pen stood a thin horse with tired eyes. A scar ran along his side. Buyers passed by without stopping, but Samuel saw something different. Not weakness, but quiet determination. So he bought the horse and brought him home. That horse became Dakota. At first, Dakota trusted no one. If Samuel approached, the horse stepped back cautiously. But Samuel never rushed him. He simply spoke softly, fed him apples, brushed the dust from his coat each evening. Slowly, trust replaced fear. Soon Dakota followed Samuel across the fields like an old friend. Months later, the ranch felt alive again. Dakota worked beside Samuel every day, pulling the plow, carrying supplies, riding into town. The people in town often said something unusual about the horse. Dakota always kept one eye on Samuel, as if watching over him. That watchful loyalty became clearer the day Samuel fell. While repairing a fence near a rocky hill, the soil beneath him collapsed. He slid down the slope and crashed onto the ground below. The pain was sharp. His chest burned when he tried to breathe, and the ranch house was nearly a mile away. But Dakota had seen everything. The horse ran down the hill. Samuel pulled himself slowly onto the saddle, with steady steps. Dakota carried him home. Later, the doctor said something Samuel never forgot. If he had stayed out there much longer, things could have been far worse. From that day forward, Samuel often said Dakota had saved his life. But time has a way of testing even the strongest bonds. A terrible drought struck the region. The fields of Montana turned dry and cracked. Grass disappeared. Crops failed, and the ranch began losing money. Samuel tried everything to keep the farm alive. But eventually, he faced the hardest decision of his life. He had to sell some of the animals, including Dakota. The buyer came from another ranch, nearly 30 miles away. When the trailer door closed and Dakota was taken away, Samuel felt something heavy settle in his chest. The barn seemed quieter that night. Too quiet. But what Samuel didn't know was that Dakota had not accepted the change. The horse spent the first night in a strange pasture. Different smells, different voices, different fences. Nothing felt like home. And somehow, Dakota remembered the direction of the ranch he had left behind. Late that night, under the pale light of the moon, Dakota slipped through a broken section of fence and began walking across dirt roads, across dry fields, through quiet forests. 30 miles, alone. Along the way, a truck driver later said he saw something unusual near the highway. A chestnut horse walking steadily along the road, not running, not lost, but moving with purpose, as if he knew exactly where he was going. Another farmer spotted the same horse at dawn crossing a field. The animal looked tired, but it never stopped moving, step after step, toward home. 3 nights after Dakota had been sold, Samuel heard the sound. Hooves. Soft. Slow. Outside the gate, when he stepped outside with a lantern, there stood Dakota, dust-covered, exhausted, but alive and home. Samuel later noticed something that made his heart tighten. Dakota's hooves were worn from the long journey, and small scratches marked his legs from pushing through brush and fences. Yet the horse stood calmly, as if the journey had been worth every step. From that day forward, Samuel treated Dakota differently. Not just as a horse-bought-ass family. He gave him the greenest pasture, built a stronger shelter beside the barn, and every evening, Samuel would stand by the fence and brush Dakota's coat the way he had years before. Sometimes he spoke to the horse as if speaking to an old friend. "You walked 30 miles just to come home," he would say quietly. "I think you deserve to stay." Years later, visitors who passed through the ranch often noticed a wooden sign hanging near the barn. It read, "Some animals don't just work beside you, they choose to stay with you." And in the pasture behind the barn, Dakota still grazed peacefully, right where he had always belonged. Because true loyalty isn't forced, it isn't bought, and it can't be sold. It's something that grows quietly, through kindness, through patience, and through trust.